Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia. Today is something a little different. It's going to be a weight loss, like almost self-sabotage, pitfalls of weight loss. I am getting over a cold and I don't know, I just have these coughing fits, so I am sorry if I have to start and stop. This is already like, I decided just to redo it because it was getting too spotty. But anyway, I've been putting this off for a very long time. I had originally wanted to do a video about losing my weight, and I was almost at 35 pounds, and I was kind of waiting for the 35-pound mark to make a video, and now we've spiraled into 6 months later, and I've lost 30 pounds. But it's been a journey, and it's always been a journey. Like, this is not my first time losing weight. My method for weight loss is Weight Watchers. I like the bank account aspect where you have daily points. You kind of have extra points so you can have, throw in treats here or there. So that works for me because I like to have treats. But whenever I'm on track and I have ice cream or a cookie, it feels so much better to have it on track than it does off of track. But if only I could compute that in my mind. So I was really thinking about the self-sabotage pitfalls because back in December, which was 6 months ago, I was almost at 35 pounds weight loss. It would have been a new low for this period of my life. And whenever I find that one of my pitfalls is I feel like self-sabotage. It's like whenever you're getting close to your goal or a new kind of achievement, like I just feel like I almost like my brain goes off the rails and I don't know, just start eating food for some reason like crazy, and I don't know. And the only thing I can think of is like I'm self-sabotaging myself. And I don't know why I do that. So that happened in December. It was also Christmas, so of course there's going to be holiday food and what have you. But so I had done pretty good. October, November, did pretty good through the holidays. Made it through most of December, and I went off a little crazy for Christmas. My goal was to get back on track in January. January is when my mom passed and then my dad passed separate times. And it doesn't always bother me. This year, for some reason, it hit me really hard, and I ate my feelings most of January. My dad's been gone 7 years, my mom a little over 20. And for whatever reason, it hit me really hard, and I'm an emotional eater. I eat my feelings. And so I gained weight. And I would say probably about 10 pounds. Overall, I ended up gaining 15 pounds. And it's so crazy how the number on the scale makes you feel about yourself. It's funny. I was just thinking how yucky I look, or I was just really getting down on myself for gaining the 10 to 15 pounds. Because January, even though I was trying to get back on track, January turned into February and March, and I don't know. Anyway, it just seemed to be a disaster. And I really, I was really wearing the same clothes. It wasn't like I was too big for my clothes or whatever. And it's funny, one of our coworkers wanted a picture because we were almost like twins that day, although it wasn't intentional. This is me, 10 pounds up. There's nothing wrong with me. Both of us there are beautiful ladies. There was nothing wrong with me. But inside, I felt yucky and big or whatever. And I sometimes feel like it's good to see pictures of yourself. I mean, sometimes not. But, sometimes I feel like my face is all red. Like in the mirror, I somehow see my face is all red, all whatever. And then when I see this picture, I don't see really any redness. I see, a pretty face. Same thing with weight. In my mind, I felt like I was, I don't know, looking ridiculous. But that's not true. That's not true. And so it boggles my mind how we let weight and the scale dictate how we feel. It's not worth it, guys. I don't know. The self-sabotage and pitfalls are not worth it. So then finally I got back on track and I was on a roll. I basically almost lost all of that 15 pounds, but I think I have 2 still to go. But it took, like, I don't know why I went on this 4-month, eat whatever I want kind of thing. And we'll start with my number one sort of pitfall. Or no, that was, my number one is just that somehow when you get close to your goal, like, you go off track. But number 2, telling myself I deserve it. I feel like I spent 4 months, like, justifying, and that's kind of goes into number 3. You know, telling myself I deserve it, making excuses and justifying it. And it's not like you can't have ice cream or donuts or whatever. I have that stuff all the time on Weight Watchers and lose weight. But I just got in this cycle, and I'm also a kind of a sweet tooth, and I really feel like my body, once it gets sugar, craves sugar. So it's easy to get into, like, I had a donut, my body wants sugar and kind of crave it. So if I feed into that, I can just go on this, like, sugar binge almost. And I feel like that's what I'm telling myself. It's okay. You know, I need, 3 ice creams this week. I need 20 cookies this week, a piece of pie, whatever. And it's an excessive amount. And I know there's people who have ice cream every day, and that's awesome. But I'm really talking about larger amounts than you would want to have in a week or whatever. So I get in this habit of, like, telling myself I deserve it. And somehow I let having a child also put me in that spin of, I don't know, getting ice cream more or getting cookies more. I don't know how I let having a kid sort of swing me into that, or also eating some of the extras of her food. But those 2 and 3 pitfalls there kind of go in. And I follow a Journey 100 on, I think, Facebook and YouTube. And she was talking about, we have to treat ourselves like adults. I wouldn't let my daughter eat a whole pack of Oreos, so why am I eating a whole pack of Oreos? So there is time for treats, absolutely. Like I said, I love Weight Watchers because of the bank account aspect, and, I can have my treats. I can have Oreos every day if I want. I just have to stay in check. I can't eat the whole thing. And my sweet tooth and, like, this sugars kind of trigger. All right, so I was just talking about, like, for me, I just have this trigger in my mind, especially with sweets, where 2 Oreos turns into 20, and I have to kind of watch myself. So another pitfall or thing for me is one sort of bad choice turns into the whole day's gone, which, if I'm being honest, turns into the whole week. And that's kind of pitfall 4 and 5 right there, is one choice ruins the whole day or week. And then before you know it, I'll start on Monday. I am still very guilty of that. I'll start on Monday. Monday is like the day where my points roll over. And so it can be Tuesday, and I'll just start again Monday. And you're wasting a lot of opportunities. So I don't know, why I get trapped, or I think a lot of us get trapped in that, donuts at work, you have one and somehow the whole day gets thrown out and you just eat whatever you want the rest of the day. That's not really logical. And I know I've talked about this book before, but I really highly recommend Chasing Cupcakes by Elizabeth Benton. She talks about, like, you wouldn't just, if you were 20 minutes late getting your child at school, you wouldn't just leave them there overnight. Like, you wouldn't do that. If you burnt your, dinner a little bit, you wouldn't then just char it for the next 30 minutes. So why we do that to ourselves, I don't know. But that seems to be, like, I don't know, a place we get. All right, number 6, special events and vacations. And I only kind of bring that up. Oh, I wish my throat wasn't doing this constantly today. For me, a lot, depending on the special event, I sort of, if it's a true special event, like we just had our anniversary, we went away for the weekend. We don't get to go away very often. We don't really have family here where I'm from. They're about a 2-hour drive away. So it's very rare that the grandparents watch Cora, and so I was not going to worry about food, really. I could have, but I chose not to. So for me, if it's a true special event, it's not, to me, a big deal. Go to the wedding, have the dinner, have the cake. But you have to watch them and make sure that special events don't happen all the time. Like, if you live a life where you do have lots of special things going on, not everything can be a special event where you just kind of like eat whatever you want to eat. So like the summer, I do much better. I'm a teacher. I do much better on the school year because we have routine. I'm at work. This summer, if I don't watch it, could turn into special events. So we travel quite a bit in the summer, doing various things, going home to see my family, going on a couple trips. And so also, as I've gotten older, I have noticed that it was really easy for me to gain that 15 pounds. It took a long time, longer than normal, to lose the weight. So I've noticed, and I don't know whether it's just a blip or I've reached an age, I'm 43 now, or almost 43, I'll be 43 later on in June, that I hit where I will lose 2 pounds and then I plateau for 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'll lose 2 pounds. And I used to sit in Weight Watcher meetings, and a lot of the people, and they were older, would be like, yeah, I've been plateauing. They would swear up and down they were perfect, they did everything right, and they were plateauing. And I literally used to, almost in my mind, just sit there and roll my eyes like, yeah, right. You can't possibly be doing everything perfect and not lose weight. Enter the last 2 months. It has taken so long to lose that 10 pounds because I was doing everything right. There was no reason that the scale shouldn't have been budging. And so vacations for me, here in a week, we're getting ready to go to North Carolina. And I don't want to be like massively restrictive, but I also don't want it to be a free-for-all. And I'm trying to strike a balance because if we're being honest, back in the day when vacations were more of a rare thing, I would gain, 8 pounds, 10 pounds. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that just is what it is. But now it takes me so long to get that weight off. I don't want to gain that much weight. I mean, I shouldn't have been doing it anyway, but I need to try to find a way that vacations don't equal a free-for-all, which is hard. Another almost like pitfall for me, which is not on my list, is when I'm not in a routine, my body seems hungrier. Just like going down to see my husband's family in San Diego, just driving down to San Diego, I am massively hungrier than if we were just here doing whatever. I don't know. I assume it's somewhere up in here, but I legit, like, stomach's growling. I feel hungrier when I'm not in my routine. So vacations are clearly a massive time where you're not doing anything related to your routine. All right, so number 7 for me is everyone else is eating it. And this happens a lot at work. My work is so bad. I feel like this year especially, so many donuts. Teacher appreciation this year was like out of control. Now, Teacher Appreciation Week happened when I was basically back on track. I was like busting my butt to lose those pounds I gained, and I did not. And I will say this book has really helped me with that concept, because back in the day, if there were like a spread, because like once a month they do a spread, each department does a spread, but like this year we have so many people bringing in cookies and donuts, like it seems like daily sometimes. Back in the day before this book, I would see everybody eating that. And if I didn't eat it, it would like trigger something where even if I succeeded in not eating it that moment, I'd go home and like, I don't know, feel like I had to like be a Hoover on the sweets and just eat everything. This book has really, I can't recommend it enough in that I don't have to. I don't have to have the donut because that's not the last donut I'm ever going to see. And I feel like somehow, like, work snacks somehow get you in that mindset of like, well, if I don't have that donut, I'm never having another donut. I can have a donut whenever I want. I control the donuts. And that sort of changed too. Like Cora sometimes will ask for a cookie after work, and I can get her a cookie and not get myself one. And that shouldn't trigger me. I can have a cookie whenever I want. I control the food. So this has really helped a lot. And I've reread parts of it like 3 or 4 times. So I'm really working hard on everyone else is doing it is not a reason. And if you look around, like in college, we'd have movie nights with our friends and we get pizza and Oreos. And of course, I would probably have 5 pieces of pizza and 15 Oreos. My friend, who was really skinny, had 1 piece of pizza and like 4 Oreos. But in the moment, all I see is that they're eating pizza and they're eating Oreos, but they're not eating as much. Same with the coworkers who have a donut. They probably counterbalance later on that day and don't go crazy. Okay, number 8, and I kind of mentioned that earlier, letting the scale dictate how you feel. I am so bad at that. If the scale is down, if the scale is down, I feel king of the world. If the scale is up, instantly, I feel fat, I feel yucky. Like earlier when I was showing this, there's nothing wrong with this person who was 10 pounds up. Still pretty, still capable, still smart, whatever. I don't know why the scale I let dictate how I feel. And I feel like there's a lot of us I know sitting in that Weight Watcher room that do that. And it's just, it boggles my mind. But there it is. And I don't think that one, I can try to tell myself, I honestly, if you're on a weight loss journey, and I should have done this, and I never take my own advice, take your measurements, keep a pair of old pants so you can get in them and like see how far you've come. I wish I would have taken measurements because I think some of those times plateauing, I wonder if I lost inches and not pounds because I was walking so much more. And that's another thing is that I was walking prior to getting a cold 10,000 steps a day. I've had 2 knee surgeries. I never thought I could be a 10,000 step person. And that's really never been my goal and still not my goal to get 10,000 a day. My Fitbit goal is set at like 7,500 just to kind of have a minimum. But I was able to walk 10,000 steps a day, not have knee pain and whatever. That's a huge, huge win. But somehow the scale being up a pound or not going down in that plateau ruined it all when it shouldn't have. I should be so proud that I can walk 10,000 steps a day and I don't hurt because of it now that I've lost the 30 pounds. But I feel like we have to find other ways to be okay with where we are and not let it just be the scale. And one of my pitfalls, I feel like, is that I struggle with, I feel like I think about food all the time for the last 30 years. I just think about food, maybe not 30 years, but I've spent most of my life overweight and struggling with food. And sometimes I just get tired of it. Like, I feel like that comes back to telling myself I deserve it or making excuses like, you know, it's okay if I'm overweight. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy life and whatever. But you're not really happy when you're overeating. So I feel like there's a balance. But I sort of feel like I'm addicted to food. And I don't mean to, I don't know, lessen true addiction of, you know, more serious nature. But I just somehow cannot stop coughing. But I feel like I'm addicted. Like, I feel like for the most part, my whole life, I'm going to have a food bank account and be watching what I eat. There are snippets where I can really sort of like almost intuitively eat. I only eat until I'm full, etc. But I do feel like probably my whole life I'm just going to have to watch what I eat, kind of measure it, track it. And that gets frustrating. And so for me, that's kind of a pitfall. I get frustrated because in my mind, it seems like everybody else doesn't have to pay attention to what they eat. And I just know that's kind of like my ball and chain. I'm just going to have to watch what I eat forever. And that gets frustrating. Like, I get bogged down in that sometimes. Why do I have to be that way? And I've worked really hard with my daughter to hopefully not have her have those problems. And I know some people don't agree, but she basically eats when she's hungry. And at this point, she stops eating when she's full. And I hope that goes there. I don't know. I don't even think this has anything to do with it. But like, I grew up, you finished your plate, you had 3 squares plus a snack, whether you were hungry or not. And so I did not want to have that for my daughter. I do not make her finish her plate. But that's just me trying to have her not have those food issues. Oh, sorry guys. And my last pitfall are holidays. And again, I feel like there's a balance. Nobody is going to say don't have whatever special treat for Christmas. Like if there is a cookie you only have at Christmas, clearly have the cookie. Thanksgiving. Eat whatever you want on that day. But don't let that turn into the whole week. And I am getting better about holidays. So when my mom first passed away, and I don't know why, but like October, November, December were hard. I could do good most of the year, and then it was crazy. I ate my way through October through December. I think just because I love the fall, Halloween with my mom, decorating, etc. And now that's gotten better. That has switched. So I had no problems in the last couple Octobers, Novembers. Christmas is still kind of hard just because work starts bringing in a lot of special things, not donuts every day, you know, special things. And so it's hard. And I need to think of a strategy for like Christmas. It's like maybe one, like, I don't know, 3 bites or something, like some kind of thing where I can try one thing each day, but like I have a small serving kind of a thing. But I need to find a way that holidays don't go crazy. This book I should probably read again. I read this a long time ago, probably more than a decade ago. This is Bethany Frankel's Naturally Thin. And this is one where I really changed me too. And basically says you can have it all, but not all at once. And she's a big proponent, which it's hard for me to do, but kind of like, she basically is like the first 3 bites are like the amazing, like fireworks in your mouth. And once those fireworks stop, you should stop taking bites. I think that's kind of hard, but I do agree with that you can have it all, but not all at once. Like you can have the piece of pie, but then maybe have a salad. You're not going to have the piece of pie, the big cheeseburger, the big order of fries, you know, milkshake all at once. Anyway, thank you guys for sitting through as I have to start and stop with all my coughing. But anyway, if I don't cough again, it's so ridiculous. I don't know if this is from my parents smoking or what, but whenever I get a cold, I just get like asthma or coughing. It's just crazy. But anyway, if you guys are struggling with the weight loss journey, just know that you're beautiful as you are and you are worth it. Thank you so much for joining me.